Well, hello, everyone. My name is Jessica London, and I am the Deputy Team Leader for the IMAT, which is the Incident Management Assistance Team. It's truly an honor and pleasure to be here with you today. Our IMAT is actually currently deployed to the Joint Field Office in Pasadena in response to the January wildfires. So unfortunately, our team leader, Cole Glenwright, won't be able to attend today as he's covering our planning meetings so that I can be here with you all. Today's discussion, we'll talk a little bit about the IMAT at Cal OES, what we do, how we support the regions, and some steps moving forward as we continue to develop our program. Okay, program overview. So the Cal OES IMAT is a full-time team that can deploy in support of local emergency managers and other state agencies to help coordinate the response to major emergencies and disasters. We are a brand new team. We're still in development and we are still refining things, especially as we keep getting sent out on some different missions, like this big one in Pasadena and in LA. We are, as I said, a new team. We currently have 9 staff members. When we're fully staffed, we will have 11, which we'll get into in just a moment. While our IMAT team is primarily designed to support local EOCs or emergency operations centers during larger complex incidents, as we can see here, is what's happening right now. We're actually in a joint field office working with our state and federal partners, as well as in constant coordination with our regions and counties and community folks as well. The purpose of the IMAT is that we can deploy to provide expertise, act as a force multiplier, and enhance coordination with the State Operations Center or the SOC. And at all times, the IMAT works in partnership with Cal OES region staff to provide unified support. This is a very important point. The IMAT is not created to take over or replace the regions in any way, shape, or form. We are here to just act as support for them because they have such a big task, such a big lift, and do so much. So we're there to help also support them, as well as work with them to support our locals. I personally have had the pleasure of working hand in hand with several region staff and their leadership on this current disasters response and recovery. And those partnerships and that expertise has been unparalleled, and we could not do what we do without them. Go next. Okay, so as I said, we are an 11-person team. We're working on getting everyone Type 1 certified so we can best support local government response operations and coordinate state engagement. In terms of our place at Cal OES, we are within the response directorate at headquarters response, which is the same with the SOC. And then we're integrated with the Cal OES regional ESCs and their leadership when deployed. The general idea for FEMA's IMAT program, which our program takes inspiration from, was established after Hurricane Katrina as needing force multiplication as well as switching out of staff so that they can get some downtime and recover. We are not a traditional incident management team or an IMT that you may hear typically in the fire service like CAL FIRE. And we're also not a replacement for the regional ESCs or the SOC incident support teams, which is the permanent, the red, white, and blue team. Once again, we're coming in as an additional resource for everyone. Now, when I refer to an IMT versus an IMAT, I know that the acronyms are almost the same. So really the designation comes down to an IMT, incident management team, is primarily focused on field operations. So they'll be out in the field at an incident command post, something of that nature. And it's typically fire or law enforcement, public safety personnel, something like that. On our side, what this Cal OES IMAT team is that we're really focused on the EOC environment and supporting operations there. And we're composed of emergency managers, so not that fire specific or law enforcement specific team. Additionally, we are a full-time team, so this is our primary duty and our only focus. We're not being pulled away from our steady state work. This is what we do. So that's one of those big differences there. So about the Cal OES IMAT and where this inspiration comes from, Cal OES has not, or California, I should say, has not had an IMAT previously, but there are federal IMATs through FEMA as well as the US Coast Guard. So we are taking inspiration from some of the work that they've done. We've developed really good partnerships with those groups so that we can build off of their standard operating procedures, their processes, lessons learned, but then tailor it specifically to California's needs. We've also been in coordination with some of the few other IMATs around the country so that we can all work and learn from one another. Fortunately, California has not had an IMAT team before from the state and has been able to handle a lot that has been thrown our way. So this program is just enhancing that capability. So the IMAT comes in and we have EOC credentialed personnel to assist in a variety of response functions and recovery planning, even mitigation as well. So here's an example of some of the mission areas that we can assist in. Incident stabilization is a big one. We have PIO or public information. We have a safety officer, operations, state agency coordination. As we know, in many of these disasters, there's a lot of different state agencies that get involved. So being able to help coordinate those contacts and those resources. On the planning side, we have action plan development and sit-stat reporting. We have on logistics, we have resource requesting and logistics, emergency contracting, procurement support. And then we also have finance and admin, so disaster financing, cost recovery, technical assistance, and then recovery transition planning. And one of those critical things as well is just taking the lessons learned from prior incidents that we have done specifically or that we have studied or that we have been involved in our lives before the IMAT. So when the IMAT comes in, we can either support and guide the local EOC personnel, Emergency Operations Center, or we can directly fill positions if there are gaps or if staff, really need downtime, but it will always be under supervision of the local EOC director, and that's going to need to be worked out at a higher leadership level. It's important to note that the IMAT will never come in unless requested, and there's a special requesting process we'll come to discuss in just a moment, but the IMAT will never just show up at your door. That's not appropriate. That's not what we'll do. It is by request of a local jurisdiction. If you were to request the IMAT, we can be very flexible and deployed in various configurations. So we could come as our full team, which is this 11 personnel. The team leader, Cole Glenwright, myself as the deputy. Then we have PIO, safety, operations, planning, logs, and finance. So this is for a very large or complex incident or where staffing is limited. We might need to do a night shift. And that's kind of our default configuration that we can be sent out in. And then we can demobilize as needs are assessed. That is what we came out with for this LA incident. For the short team, we can split the team up and have it be a smaller team. So this is when there's just some additional capacity that's needed, or if there's sustained operations, so IMAT personnel can be rotated. And then we have single resource. So first, with single resources, it should always try to be filled through EMA requests. First and foremost, if it's unable to go through that process, then we can look at sending out some of our folks as a specific position or single resource or 2 or 3s. So this is a key part, the request process. So an operational area can request assistance from the IMAT through your assigned Cal OES Regional Emergency Services Coordinator and the SEMS process. So the regional ESC will be able to assist in scoping the request if required. So first, the operational area places the initial request with the assigned regional ESC or talks to them about it. And then that region ESC will facilitate coordination between region leadership and the IMAT to scope the request. Following that, there is a decision made by Cal OES leadership on if this is the best use, if this will be the most effective, or if there's some other solutions we can come up with. And then if approved, the region EOC will get notified and be involved in those discussions, and then we'll let the operational area let them know what's happening, and will help facilitate pre-arrival coordination. Our IMAT team is able to deploy within 2 hours of notification. We can arrive on site anywhere in the state within 12 hours. So we are a very rapid response team. Ideally, what we like to come in is we like to come in, help stabilize the situation, provide that immediate support, and then work on turning the situation back over to other state assets or the region or the locals, depending on what the situation needs. It's very dependent on what the needs are, and we will work through that process and that coordination. And our deployment is tracked in the resource request system. During our deployment as the IMAT, the region ESC will serve as a liaison officer for our team and still is the principal point of contact for Cal OES for the operational areas. They are embedded within our group and are an essential member of our team. Logistical considerations. So when the IMAT comes in, we do not want to put any burden on the operational area that we're going to. Obviously, in a disaster zone, space might be tight, resources tight, all of that. So we are self-sufficient and we deploy with all of our necessary office supplies, printers, radios, safety equipment, all of that, so that we are not providing any type of extra burden. We can also coordinate with our Cal OES disaster logistics to develop additional workspaces when required if there's not enough space within an emergency operations center or location that you're using. Travel for IMAT personnel will be arranged by Cal OES and is not the responsibility of the requesting agency, and there is no cost to the requesting agency if you request IMAT and if they are approved and deployed. There's no cost. A bit about our mission set. So we can come down, obviously, that direct support with the Emergency Operations Center and local jurisdictions. We can also support state-led response operations. So if there are state-led operations, we can help coordinate all of that on behalf of Cal OES, another state agency. We have also been on pre-position assignments. We went on one up in Humboldt after the earthquake. Gosh, was that December? We pre-positioned there just in case there was found to be a need and a lot of damage. Fortunately, there was not, but we can go in pre-position. And then our team can also go on EMAC or Emergency Management Assistance Compact assignments out of state as necessary. And of course, for the State Operations Center, they have a ton of absolutely excellent personnel, but if there's any need, we can always help support the SOC as well. Then here is the contact information for myself and then the team leader, Cole Glenwright. I will put in the chat also my name and contact information. Please reach out if you have any questions or any feedback. As I said, we are a new team. We're working to make this team as effective to support our communities and our regions and our operational areas as we can in all of California. So we are working to continue that development process. We really appreciate all the support and partnership. And thank you again for letting me join you here today.